Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estela.
And welcome to
Cafecito
and Crime. Well, guys, today was one for the books. So we decided to move locations because it was really, really, really hot in the garage. And the last time that we were in there, we literally almost left.
Nos estábamos apurando through the episode because it was really hot, even though it was nighttime.
It was nighttime, dude.
Eran como las 8 o 9. Yeah, but it was still really hot.
I mean, if we're doing like a 40-minute episode, let's say 40 minutes to an hour.
Maybe like you guys hear it like 45 minutes, but sometimes we're there longer because we have to pause porque tenemos que ir al baño.
Or the kids come in, or the dog is barking.
Or somebody, or something.
So then we took forever. So today we said, hey, you know what? This is Barbie Chronicles 101.
Oh, today was.
This is Barbie Chronicles 101. So fuimos y dijimos, no, vamos a hacerlo en mi room. So we came to my room, lo limpié todo bien chingona. We could not get it to work. The mic wasn't working. My mic wasn't working. Estela's mic is not working.
Just the sound was off.
The sound was off.
It's because your room is big and the walls are... there's just more, the noise can go more, you know, where it needs, or whatever, you know.
Pero en el cuarto de mi niño, sí está más chiquito el room, pero se oye el aire.
Yeah.
Entonces en el cuarto mío no se oye el aire, pero está más grande.
And we were just struggling. It was a struggle bus for like a good 40 minutes.
40 minutes, I'm sweating.
And then I sounded good, but Barbie didn't. And then Barbie sounded good, and then I didn't. And
estoy bien estresada.
But then we figured it out, but...
We're literally like in our olden days back on the floor, but I'd rather this than be in the fucking hot ass garage. It sounds fine. Yeah, it sounds fine.
And we're still in Barbie's room, but closer to her bathroom.
Yeah, we're like in between, like where my vanity and my restroom is at. I mean, it is what it is.
It's fine.
The good thing is que acababa de aspirar según yo, pero se mira medio, like from down here, guys. If you ever want to know if your room está bien limpio or no, sit on the floor. Because from down here, it does not look clean as it. But anyway, so today we're going to have a story that's brought to you by Estela. So where are we going today?
Okay, so today we are going to Wimer, Oregon.
Oregon? Have we been to Oregon?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't really know much about Oregon.
Didn't you say that we wanted to go to Oregon because it's so pretty? The Oregon coast.
I've been wanting to go to Oregon, pero I don't think that we...
Nomás we'll just add it to the list.
Dude, we have
places.
A whole bunch of list of shit that we're never going to do that we say we're doing.
Like we want to go to Salem.
Todos los places, pero no vamos a ningún lado.
We can even, like, Barbie me manda like a TikTok or something on Instagram about this, like, coffee shop that we need to try.
Here in Houston. No crean que like in San Antonio. No, like here. And we still can't go.
And then we're like, okay. And I just hearted it and then I'm like, bitch, when
we're
are we
not
going?
going.
I'm sure we want to go, but we just...
One day we're going to go. I think one day.
We did it one time. Remember that one time that just me and you ended up going to that one coffee place?
Yeah, we had a good time. Oh, no, then we went to that coffee bar, like an actual bar. Right. That was fun, too.
How did we just decide to go out of nowhere and actually made it happen?
I have no idea, but we need to do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to Oregon today. So if you would like to join us to Oregon, please grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started. Now... I wasn't able to find much on Wimer, Oregon.
Is it small? Like, is it a small town?
Very. Yeah. And it's not random. It's not, and I guess I don't know if you consider it interesting. It's not random because it's literally what it is. But according to the 2020 census, the town's population is 690.
Not 690.
690.
Dude, 690 is probably the population in my daughter's school in Houston.
Yeah.
Like at HISD.
Yes. So, and it's literally like about an hour from the California state line. So it's like Lower Oregon.
Lower Oregon, okay. Yeah. So it's like they can jump over to Cali.
If they wanted to.
Right. But if you live in Oregon, why would you want to go to Cali?
So that's the fact about Wimer.
It's really small.
Está bien chiquito.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to begin today's case with Susan Monica.
Wait a minute. She has two first names?
I don't know. This is what they call her. I don't know if Susan Monica, that's like, I don't think Monica's her last name. And
is that her middle? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's just Susan Monica. Just know that I'm just going to refer to her as Susan Monica throughout the whole episode.
You know what? We'll do Susan Monica. Whatever
Monica.
Makes it, yeah. Pero, I mean, it's kind of weird que tiene dos nombres.
It's a middle name. Let's say it's a middle name, right?
Sí, pero no tiene apellido?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. All right, well, let's go with it.
Yeah, okay. So Susan Monica was actually born Stephen Buchanan on July 8th of 1948 in California.
Buchanan or Buchanan?
No, wait, Buchanan.
Okay, my bad.
I'm trying to be politically correct here.
Okay, my bad. Okay.
Now, not much.
But not related to whiskey, right?
No.
Okay, just make sure.
No.
But if they want to sponsor us, they can.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're not related. Now, not much is known about her early life at all. But veteran records showed that she served in the Navy, like during the Vietnam War.
Okay.
And actually, it was when the events of today's case took place that they had to look into her life, that they discovered that Susan Monica had actually been born a male.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so they had no idea.
No, up until they had to look into it.
Wow, okay.
And she was actually honorably discharged, and it was after that she began living as a woman.
Okay.
After her time in the Navy, she worked in engineering in San Francisco and was very successful. I believe she worked in submarines. And the job was very demanding, even though she was very successful. But she felt like she wanted a less hectic life and away from the city.
Okay.
So she did just that. So in 1991, she moved to Southern Oregon, to Wimer, and bought a 20-acre farm.
I wonder, ¿cómo es lo que piensan? Voy a buscar un lugar que está chiquito. Out of all the places that she could have moved, it was Wimer. You know what I mean? It's 600 population or whatever.
But that was in 2020, so imagine in 1991.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You imagine, yo me imagino como, okay, si me voy a mudar de aquí, pues voy a ir a un lugar donde esté más populado or que haga algo más trabajo or something like that. But
if she wanted a quiet life.
Yeah, definitely. I know, I understand that. I'm just saying that's crazy how she found, out of everywhere.
I guess maybe the price is right, a 20-acre farm.
Well, she wanted a farm and stuff. So, but, okay, so I have a question. I don't know if you already mentioned this, but, so she was from Wimer, or is this where the case is at?
Right.
Okay, so she didn't live there at Wimer the whole time. Okay, now I understand. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because she lived in San Francisco.
In San Francisco, yeah. I want to go to San Francisco. Another place that I want to go.
Adds to the list.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to have, animals and just be, in the peace and quiet.
She wanted to be farmer. With the vacas and the, chivos.
Animales.
Okay.
Now that she was out on her 20-acre farm in complete isolation.
20 acres, that's a lot.
Susan Monica lived off the grid. Literally. She didn't have any electricity.
What?
No tenía septic system. She lived out in a little shack.
What?
And she would only venture into town cuando necesitaba comprar algo. But other than that, she just kept to herself.
Bien the Grinch and shit.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess we'll find out why, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the only animals that she had on the property actually were chickens and pigs. And she raised and loved her pigs. She loved them more than anything and more than human life, as we'll come to find out.
Her pigs.
Okay. Oink, oink. Bacon.
Not the oink, oink.
Now, Susan Monica still managed to have a successful career in Wimer. She actually started up her own welding company called White Queen Construction.
Yes, White Queen.
And it was a wrought iron fence and gate building business. And they were she was super talented.
Awesome.
The fences she created were described as just beautiful and very detailed, and she could customize them, and she could add trees and horses and animals and stuff on the fences. So
wow,
she was
an artist basically.
Now, besides her welding business, Susan Monica also worked on her land. So cuando había comprado the 20-acre farm, it was raw land, no había nada, and she put up a barn, ella sola for the most part. And she would hire people here and there to help her when needed.
She was a DIYer.
Yeah.
Ella hacía todo la compañía.
Yep. And the people that she would hire were handyman and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Un día, she was like, okay, I'm gonna build a house from the ground up.
Oh.
And knew that she was going to need help.
Mm-hmm.
So she put up an ad for a handyman around town and online. And a man named Robert Haney was the one to answer her ad on Craigslist.
Mm-hmm.
Closer to closer to mid-year of 2013. And he would actually begin working for her. Now, Robert Haney was born on June 26th of 1957. And when he was growing up in school, his ex-sister-in-law goes on to say that he wasn't the most popular person or the most popular kid. I was kind of like a loner and quiet. I don't know if he was doing well in school or maybe school wasn't his thing.
Yeah.
Pero he actually ended up dropping out of high school. Y él y su hermano Don ended up kind of just like hitting the road. So I guess you could say running away because they were fucking teenagers. So they just ended up.
They quit high school y se fueron.
Left. Okay. Yeah, they left. So I don't know what year. They were probably late teens, quién sabe, you know? Now, out on the road, you know, and being young, the brothers managed to find work in construction. Mm-hmm. And Robert really found his way in the construction business. Business?
Not the business. There's more than one business.
Construction business.
What the fuck? Y luego?
Now, his son, Robert's son, Jesse, I think he was the oldest, later goes on to say that his dad could literally build a house from the ground up.
I mean, there's some people that are just born with that.
I mean, especially since he started construction so early. Like, that's all you know.
That's all you know. That's so cool, though. Like, I wish I was one of those handy people. I am not. Like, I think I am, but I'm not.
So, one time, Robert, you know, he already, you know, had been doing this for quite some time. He, you know, cuando sales de trabajar, sometimes you just want to, like, go and, like, chill. Like, he attended a party. And then he met a woman named Talia Larson, and who would end up actually becoming his wife in the 80s. And they would actually have 5 children together.
Oh, cool.
According to Jesse, he remembers that his dad just worked a lot. Maybe about 6 days out of the week.
Maybe because that's all he knew.
And he really wanted to provide for his family. I mean, tenían 5 hijos.
Like, tenían 5 hijos, pero a la misma vez, like, sometimes that's all you know. Like, all you know is to work, and you don't
provide for your family.
Provide for your family. You don't know any better. You don't know about vacations and all of that. Tú nada más que estar trabajando, trayendo el dinero, and that's all you know.
But because he worked so much, it ended up causing problems between him and his wife.
Yeah, I could relate.
Now, the more Robert and Talia argued, the more he would work.
Yeah, to get away from her.
You know, so it was just kind of like...
I can also relate to that.
Or maybe to... he just maybe didn't want to argue, so he just worked.
Argue. Yeah, definitely.
Now, eventually, the couple decided to separate and divorce in 2003.
Okay.
Now... I'm not sure, like, who makes the decisions. I don't know if the kids wanted to go with Robert, but Robert and his children, and I don't know how many of them, moved to Medford, Oregon. So, unos de sus hijos se fueron con él. Yo no sé cuántos años tenían or anything like that.
I wonder what made them that, like, maybe the older ones? Like, you know?
I don't know, yeah.
I don't know. That's not weird, but I just thought, okay.
Like, I wonder why, you know?
Yeah.
Now, and they decided to move to Medford, Oregon to start, or, you know, to have a fresh start. And when the kids all grew up and moved out, Robert himself decided that it was time for a change. Since all the kids were out of the house, he decided to downgrade y vendió su casa, and he bought a camper and a dog. And this was around 2012. So like 11 years ago.
Mm-hmm. That's not that far ago. I mean, long ago.
No, it's not.
Wow.
And it was in 2013 that he saw Susan's ad and responded to...
Somebody needing, like, some work
handyman,
done. Yeah,
and that's how he ended up working for her. Now, Medford, donde vivía Robert, wasn't very far from Wimer. It was just a little over half an hour away. So, no es como si él se estuviera moviendo, like, out of the state or, like, across the country or anything. You know, he was just fucking going half an hour away.
From here to Katy.
Right. Right. Katie's kind of farther, so.
Probably. Katy is further. Well, Carmel is further.
It's traffic.
And it's still considered Houston. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Now, the deal that Susan and Robert struck up was that he would work for her as like a handyman, carpenter, you know, he was in construction, a laborer, whatever. And she would pay him cash, and she would let him live on her property in his camper, con su perro.
So se iba a llevar la camper, like kind of like a tiny house, y la iba a estacionar en la casa de...
En la property.
The property de
Susan
Monica. And then he was going to work there, but also have his property, I mean, his own place.
He would live there, yes. Y ella le pagaba cash. Now, Robert's kids were aware of where he was living and who he was working for.
So he gave them all the information por si las dudas.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Like, es su papá de ellos. They would keep in contact with their dad, his
to
kids.
Keep them safe también, you know?
Yeah. Uh-huh. And they would keep in contact with their dad here and there. You know, it wasn't every day.
Maybe they were the older ones que se fueron con él, you know?
Maybe. Like I said, it wasn't every day, or it wasn't even every week that they spoke to him. Actually, Jesse would go on to say that they could go up to like a month or two without talking to their dad.
Oh, wow.
Pero
they weren't very close, maybe?
No, just life, you know, Robert was just like moving around, working from place to place. And I'm sure maybe the kids had their own things going on. Pero dice que de ahí no pasaba like a month or two. But they would talk to their dad.
Yeah.
Eventually.
They'd be like, hey, what are you doing? Are you okay? Whatever. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And when they did speak to his dad, Jesse said that Robert was very content where he was at and where he was working.
I mean, no le decía, I hate this place
no,
or
he
whatever.
said that he liked being out in the woods and working. He liked being in the quiet and that it was nice. Now, eventually, more than 2 months went by and Robert's kids stopped hearing from him. They tried reaching out to him time and time again, but nothing. Oh, wow. And after many months, they finally decided to go and look for him at Susan and Monica's property.
Because they knew where he was.
Right.
Okay.
And they knew who he was working for. And that was, so cuando decidieron ir a buscarlo a su papá, it was January 1st, 2014.
Okay.
Let's take a quick break. Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser! Taser! He's gonna shoot! Oi! Shot fired! Shot fired! Stay out! You got a gun on you!
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
So, ¿ya cuánto tenía trabajando entonces con ella? Como un año.
6 meses.
6 meses? Okay.
Yeah. Now, when they arrived and they asked Susan Monica about their dad, she told them that he quit sometime in September.
What?
Yeah.
¿Y no estaba el camioncito?
Hold on. And that she hadn't heard from him since. Ella les dijo that she had been meaning to reach out to them so they could come and pick up his stuff.
Oh, so ahí estaba el camión.
Yeah.
¿Y el perro?
The kids... I know they're not kids. I keep calling them kids, but it's because they're his kids.
His children?
Yeah, they're his kids, Robert's kids. So they walked over to the area donde estaban las cosas, their dad. And they immediately got like a bad feeling because obviously something was wrong because all of his belongings were still there. His camper was there. His car was there. Su perro was there. Jackets. It was fucking January 1st in Oregon. It's Oregon.
No, she didn't say Oregon.
Oregon.
Okay.
And some people say Oregon.
Okay, Jackson.
Oregon. They knew, it's está frío in pinche Oregon. And all of his tools were there.
Can't relate in Houston.
Now, remember, he is a handyman, so...
He needs his tools, bro.
Yeah, that's his livelihood.
Yeah.
That's how he makes money.
Yeah. So no se va a ir without having his tools so he can make money wherever he goes.
Right. And then he was like, he took very good care of his tools. Bitch, they're not fucking cheap.
No, hell no. I would know. I've been trying to buy a saw, girl. Be just sawing shit for real. Like, I've been trying to buy a saw because I saw it. DIY. No way. No, pero yeah. No, my DIYs, like, I've been wanting a saw. Y también caros. I was thinking about going to the pawn shop. I ain't gonna lie.
Now... And like we said, he never went anywhere with without his tools, and he took really good care of them, which was really weird to them, and which was one of the other reasons why they thought that something was off. Because cuando llegaron to the site where he was staying at,
ahí estaban las tools,
todas tiradas.
What?
They were just like strewn about and not properly placed.
No, they
where
they
usually went.
Like, that's something I would know of my dad. Like, my dad, when he has something, that boy be taking care of shit forever.
As you should.
Yeah, well, yeah, pero uno que está, like. Yeah. But to him, like, I would probably be like, this is not my dad. Like, this is not right.
You would know también.
Yeah, I would know.
But there was, like, all of his stuff was there, but there was one thing that was missing, and it was his wallet.
Oh. And obviously him.
And they couldn't find it. I mean, they were looking through his belongings.
Y las llaves del carro y todo estaba ahí todo. Wow.
After this, like, his children immediately reported him missing.
Good.
They told the police where his dad had been staying and where he worked, how long it had passed since they had last seen or spoken to him.
Yeah, because at this point, they don't even know how long he has been missing. Has it been a week? Has it been 2? Because they haven't talked to him in a month or so, right?
Since September.
Oh, shit.
And this was January 1st que lo fueron a buscar. They were asked by the police if they knew of any, like, obviously... One way to track somebody was like through your bank accounts, debit, credit cards.
Yeah.
So that's what the police asked him, if they knew if he had any type of...
Enemies or something.
No, like banking information.
Oh, banking. Okay.
And they told him that no, that as far as they knew, his dad didn't have, any bank accounts or anything like that. Y Susan Monica le pagaba cash. Now, obviously, the policía had like their work cut out for him because
you think
he hadn't just been missing for like a day or two or a week. It had been.
Not been. Pinche frigón o qué vergas.
It had been, September, October, November, December, 4 months.
Bitch, they had talked. He had been working with Susan Monica
since like mid-June, maybe.
So estamos hablando de
2013, I'm sorry.
So estamos hablando de 6 meses. Into that 6 meses,
But remember, they said that they didn't talk to him often tampoco. It could go up to a month or two.
But what I'm saying is, so he had just basically started working there and he went missing.
Like 4 months. Estuvo, hay que decir, como 6 meses.
Damn, that's crazy, dude.
Now, I guess there was a saving grace in his case because while Robert didn't have any like bank accounts or debit credit cards that he could kind of like be tracked, he did have an EBT card.
Okay.
And he had been receiving benefits from the state,
If you don't know what an EBT card, it's a food stamp card.
So that was a good place to start, I guess, looking for Robert, You couldn't track anything else, but you could track the EBT card.
Uh-huh. Girl, the state will track you to the end of the world.
Detectives also asked Robert's children if he had been, how had he been acting up and,
I think that they wouldn't probably know much about him if they hadn't spoken.
Well, detectives also asked Robert's children if he had been acting strange during the time leading up to his disappearance. And they were told that actually Robert hadn't been in the best place.
Oh.
Yeah. It seemed that there had been like a traumatic event that happened within the family where someone was assaulted.
Oh, wow.
There's no other information besides just that
somebody was assaulted.
In the family, yes.
And within his children? Or
I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay. Robert was actually having a really hard time with it. And what happened, he was really angry and kind of depressed about the whole situation. And that he wanted to seek revenge. He began drinking a lot. Damn. Like a lot. And according to a previous employee of Susan Monica's, I believe his name is Sean, Robert would drink alone at his camper en la noche, and then he would be heard yelling outside of it, like, why, God, like, why?
Oh, pobrecito.
I know.
By himself, though, going through all of that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Also, a neighbor of Susan Monica's property, también she went on to say that Robert, he was, like, pleasant enough, but when he was, like, just, I guess, shit-faced, that he was just a really bad drunk. He was just very hard to deal with. Now, with that information that they gathered about Robert, detectives head out to Susan Monica's farm. And there's actually, like... Obviously, this is recorded. There's video of this, but of another visit. But like they show it to you as you're watching. The actual like farm was very wrong turn-ish. Like the movie could have been filmed on Susan Monica's farm. Like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
She had a creepy ass house there.
What house they were building?
I mean, or creepy ass land. So was she living on a trailer or what?
Her shack.
In her shack that she made with some pigs, no?
Yeah.
Tenía marranos, cuches, no?
So obviously they go to Susan Monica's property, and they asked her about Robert Haney, and she told them that Robert had lived on her property for about 6 months. Y que she explained obviously their arrangement, he would live here, I would pay him cash, and he would do this for me, so on and so forth. And les dijo que one day he received a phone call from a family member that told, that involved the assault that his kids were, her mentioning it.
So basically she remembers that. Remembers and ¿cómo se dice? Corroborated que sí pasó,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that after he received that phone call, he became very depressed and que empezó a tomar bastante. Mm-hmm. And his drinking was becoming too much of an issue that she had decided to confront him about it, which was on September 9th. Mm-hmm. But before she even had a chance to approach him, he approached her.
Oh.
Y le dijo que si le cuidaba al perro y le dio dinero. Y le dijo que
Él le dio dinero a ella.
Que le cuidara al perro, and he told her that he had something that he needed to go and handle.
Oh, shit.
Yep. So she went on to say that Robert was picked up by another guy driving a white sedan, but that she didn't really get a good look at the guy, and that she just said that she just assumed that Robert was going to return.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're leaving the place and you're expecting for... Yeah, I mean, she was working there, le está dando dinero, you know.
He was like,
pero
hey,
le encargó al perro, pues.
Right, pero le dio dinero para que cuidara al perro.
Oh, bueno.
Yeah. Now, based on what they have been told, detectives wondered if maybe, like, this thing Robert had to go and take care of had to do with whatever happened, like, within his family. Mm-hmm. And that maybe in trying to, let's say, for instance, he tried to seek revenge, he might have run into some trouble that he couldn't get out of.
Okay.
So detectives took the information that they received from Susan Monica and they tried to look for a white sedan, but it had been so long ago. Okay,
like that's nearly impossible. Yeah.
Right, mm-hmm. Right. Because obviously no fucking license plate, no description of who picked them up.
Just a white sedan.
Bitch, like, do you know how many
really
of them there
random,
are?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that fucking didn't go anywhere. But they also contacted the state agency for the EBT card on January 9th. And to see when was the last time the card was used and where. Now, detectives were told that the last activity was in December.
Oh, okay. That's something.
Right? Mm-hmm. Which was after he had gone missing, Robert, right? Mm-hmm. And the purchases were done at a Walmart in Grants Pass, Oregon, which was about 20 to 30 minute drive from the property donde él se estaba quedando, sus hermanicas. So detectives were able to collect video surveillance from the Walmart from the date that the purchases were made. And they were obviously, expecting to see Robert on the surveillance video. But it was actually Susan Monica that showed up on the surveillance video.
Wait a minute. She had his full Sam's card? What the
No se las vendió.
No se las vendió.
No.
Mamá se llevó la tarjeta y la empezó a usar sin permiso. No mames. That's illegal,
Or maybe es el dinero que le dio, right? A lo mejor le dio la tarjeta.
No. Sí, no creo que le haya dado la tarjeta. Porque para que le dice, mira, te voy a dar mi tarjeta para que vas a comprar groceries. No, it doesn't. I don't think so. Now, me personally don't think so.
Oh, porque no puedes comprar dog food with an EBT card, right?
I don't think you can.
Now, they were able to obtain a search warrant for Susan Monica's property on the basis of identity theft.
Yeah, definitely.
And they were able to execute it the very next day on January 10th.
Okay, so then as soon as... Damn, that was quick too.
I know.
That's really quick. I don't know, maybe things go differently in Oregon. But in Harris County, girl.
So when they arrived on the property on that day, January 10th, obviously more than just one or two detectives that usually, show up initially were there. It was like multiple.
I'm telling you,
well, obviously the property was big. I mean, 20 acres. You're just not going to show up with one or two people, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big property, dude. Y luego pues no había nada más que la shack. Y los coches.
Like I just said, it was multiple detectives and sergeants and stuff. Some were searching on the farm and like with video recording, and then there were others that were speaking to Susan Monica. She was confronted with what they found as far as Robert's
video,
right, and that it was obviously that it was her. There was some video, it wasn't Robert. And according to Detective Eric Henderson, who was speaking to Susan Monica, when she was confronted with this information, como que before she was very just kind of cooperating, kind of just like very chill, como que ya se miraba nerviosa.
O como que le caló.
Yeah, como que she was shitting bricks a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, y se miraba bien preocupada.
A mí se me hace que ella no pensó que se iban a poder encontrarla con la EBT card. I really do think that she was probably like, I'm just going to use it, they're never going to find out.
Right. So she went on to tell them that she had Robert's permission to use his EBT card.
Okay.
Cuando él le preguntó que le cuidara al perro. Like, she took it upon herself to assume that it was okay for her to use his EBT card.
What? So she just happens to find the EBT card?
Y les dijo that she stopped using it because ya no tenía dinero and it had expired.
No shit, stupid ass, it wasn't your fucking money.
While she was being interrogated, like I just mentioned, others were recording the property. And it was filled with, like, junk. Because remember, this was 2013 by this point. She had purchased it in 1991. It had been a long-ass time, like 23 fucking years.
Yeah.
22 years she had been on it. And it was just filled with junk, Barbie. I'm showing you pictures. It's junk on top of junk.
Como like hoarder vibes or más?
Very, like, rotting food.
Holy shit.
Like, industrial junk. Like, half-built structures and, like, fucking, like, traffic cones. Like, random-ass old cars.
¿Cómo para qué, güey?
Como que nunca tiraba nada a la basura. Like, her land was the trash.
Okay, dude, pero como que did she go and find the traffic cones and be like, I need these in my home. Let me take them. Or maybe she thought she was going to DIY. Holy shit, duba.
You can swipe. Swipe left and then swap right. I think that's the second picture.
But you know what, guys? Let me tell you. I'm looking at the picture and it literally looks like she has a path. Like, she paths into the house, paths out of the house. Like, no,
Doesn't that look like Wrong Turn was filmed there?
Yeah. No, straight up hoarder vibes. Very, very hoarderish.
Sergeant Nathan Sickler was one of the ones that was recording the property. And as he was recording, he was describing what he was seeing.
Yeah.
And
there was, like, old trucks and shit. That's a pretty nice Chevy, ain't gonna lie.
Imagine restoring it.
Dude.
That'd be pretty nice.
Pretty nice.
Now, there was like an area where he was recording and it was like a big ass hole, kind of like they were trying to make a pond. And that was the area that he was kind of walking to. And he comes to a stop and, like I just said, all this is on video, right? And he says, quote, I think that might be a leg.
What? Not the fucking leg.
Obviously, they could tell that this wasn't like an animal bone or leg or anything like that. So they... Like, Detective Eric Henderson, he was like the lead detective, and he was, like I just said, he was the one that was talking to Susan Monica. So when they found this leg, le fueron a decir a él, pero obviously they told him, like, very quietly in his ear.
Para que ella no oyera.
Right.
Okay.
Que ella no oyera. So he was like, I try to keep, like, a straight face when they told me this. He said, and then he told Susan Monica, I think maybe we should just go down to the police station to, be interviewed instead of here. So se van, right?
So that they can probably dig out the leg, no?
Right. Well, it was just right there. Like tirada.
Random ass leg más tirada, Stella.
Yeah. We'll see why it was just there. We'll find out.
Okay.
So Susan Monica's getting interrogated. They made it to the police department, and she gets asked if, to her knowledge, has anyone ever died on her property? And she said no. And all this is recorded. Yeah, you can pull this up. So she then gets asked if she would tell them if there had been. And then she said, I guess, no. I mean, she like kind of laughed it off. Like, she was nervous. She was like, I guess, no, I wouldn't tell you.
What?
They then tell her that it looked like a leg had been found on her property or something along those lines, right? So, of course, she then changes her story, changes her tune and tells the detective what, quote unquote, actually happened on September 2013.
So she was like...
To Robert.
Oh. So she was like, yeah, I think we found a leg. Oh, bueno, ya me acordé.
I remember. Let me tell you.
Okay.
She says that in September, she got up in the morning and saw that her pigs were on something. So she made her way to the pen and saw that they were eating. So she inched closer and kind of like hit them para que se movieran, because they were all huddled up, and saw Robert there. This sounds bad, but this is how she described it. She said that Robert was on the floor with his guts all over it.
What?
And that he was being eaten alive by her pigs.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
Pigs can eat you alive?
Yes, actually, there's been multiple. I think there was a story. And then I started like looking all this stuff up about the pigs.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up.
Pigs will literally eat pretty much anything, especially if they're hungry. They will eat you. I didn't really look into it, but one of the the headlines that I saw was there was I'm not sure, he was like a farmer or something like that, but he had a heart attack and he fell into his pig pen and his pigs ended up eating him.
Pero he was unconscious.
Right.
Like, if you're alive and you're trying to get away, I don't think that they'll eat you. Now,
I think I had told you this before, but, I went into, this thing about pigs and that they're actually smarter than any trained dog. They're smarter than dogs, and they're smarter than a 3-year-old toddler.
Okay.
And they're actually...
But my dog is not going to eat me alive, hopefully.
No. I know he's not very trained, but he's a scaredy cat.
Yeah, I was just scared of a fly earlier. Like, I'm just saying, like, but you're telling me that they're smarter. Okay, I get that. But what I'm saying is, if Robert was trying to get them off of him, I don't think that they would have overpowered him.
But remember, this is what she was saying.
Okay.
According to Susan Monica.
Okay, well, Susan Monica needs to fucking explain because this makes no sense.
She says that he saw... because le estaba moviendo like his hand was moving and that he was moaning. So she decided to grab her gun and shoot him in the head to put him out of his misery.
Jesus.
She said, quote, I do that for my animals, and this was the first time I did it for a human being, and I knew it was wrong, but if it were one of my pigs suffering out there, I would have done the same thing. End quote.
No, she didn't compare this human being to a pig.
So she shot him. After she shot him, she left him there and took off his clothes because apparently pigs eat everything, but they don't eat through clothes. And so she le quitó la ropa so the pigs had better access to him.
No mames, güey. No mames.
And after a couple of days, she went back out there and picked up what she believed were to be his remains and put them in a plastic bag and then just left them somewhere out on the property.
What the fuck? So then, rewind. Hold on. So you're telling me que la señora dijo, ya se lo están comiendo. Might as well just let them eat it. Let them eat the rest of it. Might as well. Ya está ahí el pinche snack. And took his clothes off so that they wouldn't choke, basically. And let him eat the rest of his body. This is so stupid. Super weird. And then she has the nerve to be like, I killed him because I was putting him out of his misery. What the... Who makes you the super duper boss of who you kill? Like, what the hell?
It is believed that at some point an animal got into the bag because she just left it out somewhere on the property and pulled the body part out to consume it. And it was a leg. That's why it was just found randomly cuando they were videotaping the property. It was just found out there.
So now you're telling me not only did the pigs eat them, and then also another random ass animal came and eat them? That's too much.
This is a person. Let's remember, this was a person.
This is a person. This is someone's dad, dude. Like, okay.
Obviously, Susan was asked by detectives, ¿por qué no le habló to 911? And
or why instead of shooting him, not shoot the fucking pigs,
or not get the pigs off Robert?
Yes, para ayudarlo.
And she said that she was worried that if she told anybody that her pigs were gonna be put down.
Okay,
that's how much she loved. So she's pretty much telling them that she valued her pigs over Robert's life, over human life.
Are you fucking kidding me? So now you need to explain to me how the fuck did it get onto the floor? Because I'm pretty sure that not randomly, the pigs started attacking him. Like, they're not fucking wolves and shit. Now,
they told Susan Monica, be like, so we're going to search your whole property. They told her every inch of it, if there was anything else that they would find on the property, which they actually ended up applying for another search warrant, this one on the basis of murder.
Yeah, definitely.
Not identity theft.
Yeah.
When they told her that, Susan Monica asked for a piece of paper and a pen, and she drew like an outline of her, like the barn, and then where the pig pen was. And then she drew like an X right outside of the pig pen and told them, that's where you're going to find Steve.
Wait a minute. Rewind. Who the fuck is Steve?
She goes on to tell them that Robert was not the first person to have died on her property.
OMG. Not Steve.
Now, detectives found out that his name was Stefan, but they call him Steve, so I'm going to call him Steve. Steve Delicino lived on a neighboring property and would do odd jobs here and there for Susan Monica a year before Robert, so in 2012.
Wow. This is like, it took a fucking turn in my mind. Like, what the hell?
So Steven's daughter, Eva, she goes on to say that her dad was también un handyman. And that she always remembered that he...
Espérame. I just realized. So then, ¿no lo habían buscado a Steven?
Oh, we'll get there. But okay. Eva goes on to say that su dad siempre se recordaba que su dad was always carrying like a toolbox. And she went on to say that she remembers him being a very hard worker, but that he was a very transient person. He was always on the move, nunca se quedaba in one place at a time. And I don't think they were I don't think they had a relationship, because then I guess, no sé si, I don't know what happened in the family. I don't know if he just left because she says that she was robbed of having an opportunity to repair her relationship with her father.
Maybe they had like a fight or they were on bad terms right at
with
that
the family.
moment. Yeah, okay.
Maybe he left. He was a transient person. He couldn't stay in one place.
See, he was like a gypsy.
Like a nomad. Nomad. So he was like Robert, right?
Yeah.
Susan Monica told detectives that in the summer of 2012, 2 of her guns had gone missing. Y que somehow she ended up going through Steven's things y que encontró sus pistolas, according to her. This is all according to Susan Monica. One was a rifle and the other one was a handgun. Y que she confronted him about it and that they kind of got like into a wrestling match. Y que Susan had a .22 revolver on her. And in the tussle and her gun went off and it ended up hitting Steven, in the head.
What?
Pero que no se murió. That, according to Susan Monica, Steven got up and was bleeding de la cabeza. And then she said that she kind of like started to run, pero that he started to run to the front of the area of her barn and he chased her down. And
while being shot in the head?
Him, yeah, because como no sé si le rozó algo.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there was like, she grabbed her rifle because it was like nearby. And there was another struggle between Steven and Susan Monica. And that at one point, Steven was on his knees and she was above him. And then she shot him in the head for good.
Again. Just like she shot Robert.
Yes. She said that she was very distraught because her and Steven had been friends, even though, she had described him as being an alcoholic and such.
No. Cállese el hocico, pinche vieja.
So she was very distraught about what happened. So se fue y se acostó en su shack. And then,
a llorar. Porque el hombre estaba muerto, que ella lo mató. Okay.
And then while she was laying down, she realized she made a mistake. So she got up así como bala. And she ran to where Steven's body was, and that she saw that her pigs were starting to lick his wounds, and that they began to eat Steven. Y que luego she claims that they dragged his body back to their pigsty area, and that she didn't do anything about it.
No, es que eso no está bien. Los marranos no hacen eso.
That we know of.
Dude, there's no way that a marrano could pick up a whole human being. Like, how many? Is this a group of marranos? Like, is this a gang of marranos?
She had
what the
pigs.
fuck?
She had pigs.
Okay, dude, pero they're already heavy. They can't, apenas pueden con su alma. You imagine a pig just grabbing somebody ni que fueran pinches lobos or lions or something? What the hell? I need this information. Somebody in our comments, please tell us if this is possible that the pigs will.
I don't know if they're that strong, but her pigs were like jabalines, like thickums. They were big
Por
and
eso
fat.
te estoy diciendo, okay, but you're saying that they're smarter than a trained dog, right? Okay, pero somebody had to have trained them.
I don't think as far as them eating a person or them eating I don't think I have to train them to that.
I don't think so. But what I'm saying is, how in the cuando and the whole time did they decide? Okay, this person is laying down. Let me drag them to my home.
That's the thing. How do you? We'll get to it because at the end, this is just her version of events.
Okay, because I'm getting upset and ya me estoy emputando.
Tienes calor.
Ya me dio calor otra vez. Chingado.
Again, she let a couple of days pass by before she went back out there. And by the time she actually managed to go back out there, the only body parts of his body that were left were the skull, some bones, and the spine. And then she buried the remains behind her barn.
It's not right. Something's not right.
Like I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, they told her, hey, we're going to search your property. So they asked her again if
there was more people. Yeah,
they were going to find more bodies on her farm, and if she had done this to anybody else. And Detective Eric Henderson says that Susan told him that if she told him about the 17 others, that she would spend the rest of her life in jail.
Not 17, motherfucker. Not 17. Please tell me not 17.
The next day, on January 11th, a team of the CSI team just kind of descended on the property. And Robert's
looked for bodies.
Robert's remains were found in the barn in multiple black bags. And I'm assuming here that Susan Monica told them where to find him because, according to them, if she hadn't, they were like, we wouldn't have found him where he was at because there's no way we would have been looking in that area. So I'm assuming she told them where to find them. Yeah. Where to find Robert's remains.
She was just probably like, let me just tell them what I did.
Yeah. So también an excavator was brought onto the property to dig holes. God. And it was while digging one hole that they found Stephen's remains.
Wow.
Susan was arrested on January 14th and was charged with 2 counts each of a murder and first-degree abuse of a corpse, as well as 1 count of identity theft.
Yeah.
And she pleaded not guilty.
What? How? How is that possible? How is that fucking possible that she pleaded not guilty? How?
Now, both sets of remains were sent to the lab, and the results matched what Susan said happened at the end of her stories, right? That Robert and Stephen both died from gunshot wounds to the head, and forensics also showed that there had been consumption by animals on the remains. Mm-hmm. So that matched, right?
Yeah. Like chewing.
Yeah, like that she shot him because she did say that she shot him.
She did say that she shot him.
And that they were eaten by pigs, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that matched.
Yeah.
Now, based on what Susan Monica had said about the 17 others, police thought that, do we have like a serial killer on our hands?
Yeah.
You know? And they going to find how many other bodies they were going to find?
Maybe not even 17, maybe even more.
And it's 20 acres.
Shit.
You know? So they return to searching the property, and they do find a room where there were personal belongings that belonged to other people.
Oh my God, bitch.
It was like TVs, like furniture, and like a large pile of shoes.
No.
So obviously...
She was sick, dude.
In the following weeks, the big excavator kept on like working around the clock. Like they wouldn't stop. And in the end, I think they dug about 136 other holes. There were over 400 fragments of bones that were found, but were later determined to be from animals and not humans.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And actually, no other bodies or any other signs of human remains were ever found on the property.
But you never know what it should do to them.
Right. But when they did their investigation, they
okay, right. I get that, but you never know.
I know.
Why would she say that?
Right.
That's crazy.
Like, why would you open your mouth and say that?
Yeah, well...
If you already told them they found out what happened about Robert, you told them about Stephen because you knew that they were going to find him.
Yeah.
But why would you open your mouth and say 17 others?
I don't know, dude. Y luego todas las cosas, ¿de dónde las agarraba?
Well, she was a hoarder. I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah, she was a hoarder for sure.
Now, Susan Monica's trial began on April 15th of 2015.
Uh-huh. I'm going to look her up.
Prosecutors stated that Susan killed her employees in heated arguments and fed their bodies to her pigs.
I believe that.
She knew what she was doing. And recordings of interviews of Susan Monica were played in court where she relayed her version of events, and she would change her stories. Like
every time?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. First saying that she didn't kill them, and then admitting that she had. And then she even went on to say that she didn't even believe her, whatever she was saying, that she was lying. It was just very contradicting.
No, she was just all over the place.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, the prosecution even had a surprise witness. Her name was Jordan Ferris, and she was Susan Monica's cellmate whom she met in jail while awaiting trial. Mm-hmm. According to Jordan, Susan told her that she and Robert got into an argument because he was drunk and tried to come on to her. So she shot him and pushed him into the pig pens.
Oh.
And after she told her that, she chuckled.
Wow.
That according to Jordan, that Susan Monica killed without remorse. And también dijo que ella, Susan Monica, also gave her a birthday card, and she signed it from, quote, the sweetest murderer in Jackson County, and signed it Susan B. Monica.
That's so fucking creepy.
Now, according to the defense, the card was just in very bad taste, and just that Susan Monica had a very strange sense of humor.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm.
And the defense argued that she killed in self-defense. Based on her statements, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Quote, now make no mistake about it. She shot both of these individuals. That is a fact. But the shooting in themselves is not a murder. It is only murder if she caused their death and did it intentionally. There's nobody else to say she told them otherwise or saw it. Now, Susan Monica also testified in her own defense, and she was like with the rest of her counsel, so she was allowed to represent herself and everything. But it was a shit show.
I can tell.
As it usually goes, you know?
As it usually is, yeah.
She would have like outbursts and make like random ass statements.
Yeah. She looks like somebody that would... I just looked her up. She has a wig on. I'm not saying anything that is wrong with wigs, but she's wearing a wig, and it's like a short wig, and it's blonde, and she literally looks like somebody that you would meet at church, straight up. Like a grandma, okay, she's at church giving kids like fucking mints and shit. Like, she does not look like a...
Giving mints.
No, I'm being serious. Like, and now see, this one, she's wearing a longer wig, pero la misma.
Now...
She look rough right here, girl. Look at her.
Ya, aquí él apenas la habían arrestado.
Yeah, pero por eso te digo, she straight up looks like somebody that you meet at church. Like, oh, come on in, sit right next to me.
Now, after all the witnesses testified and all the evidence was presented on April 21st, the jury deliberated for just an hour and found her guilty on all counts. Mm-hmm. She was sentenced to 50 years before she could even be considered for parole. And at the time, she was into... maybe late 60s.
Yeah,
she was going to spend the rest of her life in prison.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I believe Robert was 56. So he was very young. Mm-hmm. Stephen was 59, which también is still very young.
They actually favored themselves. I was looking at the picture.
Doesn't like Robert just look like such a, like, he looks like a kind, like he has kind eyes. You know when they say that he looks just kind of like kind.
Yeah, he looks like a dad. Yeah. You know, he looks like a dad. But both of the pictures that I saw, they kind of favored themselves.
Yeah, they kind of look
like the little mustache and stuff. Yeah. So
now, the pigs on Susan Monica's properties, they were euthanized.
Yes, they had to go.
Yeah.
And please don't eat them I hope they didn't make bacon with them, because
there was a neighbor that said that I don't know if this is accurate. I just saw it in one article, but like a neighbor that said that they saw that she would feed her pigs like live animals.
Oh, shit.
Like farm animals and stuff.
So then maybe they already had a taste for blood.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They were like wild.
Right.
But I just need to comprehend a little bit better, and I'm going to look it up, because I need to know if it's possible for the pig
to drag a body.
Multiple
pigs, I guess.
Multiple pigs, more than one, to drag a body from where they were laying down into their like pit. Yeah. Like, is that the thing? Like, I don't know. I just need to know that.
And I also did find like a website that said that the 20-acre farm was up for sale as of last year. But I'm not sure if it's
You imagine somebody buying that?
Well, there was comments under it, and I think you're supposed to let them know. I guess in the state of Oregon, you're supposed to let them know if it would affect them or anything like that, the buyer, if anything on the land would affect them. But there was raw land. Like, there was nothing really built there. Nothing that they would build on top of that would affect them, you know? But there was a comment from, like, in one realtor that said, you know, I personally, they were like, I would let whoever purchases land, you know, like, but honestly, who doesn't know? I guess in the state people know, but outside of the state, quién sabe?
I mean, I didn't know. Like, what if I was buying property in Oregon? I would never, but you never know. And I'm like, hey, I like this property here. Oh, it's cheap. Let me go and see how much it is. And next thing you know,
I think it was a little, maybe $500,000, which I didn't think was a lot.
That's not a lot for 20 acres. Maybe in Oregon, their prices are a little bit different.
Maybe because it's like Southern Oregon.
But here in Texas, that's nothing.
Not a lot.
Yeah, that's crazy. But
that's the case of Susan Monica. It's crazy.
It is so crazy.
People are sick.
Dude, sick. Because she did that because she wanted to, dude.
But what was the reason?
She probably didn't want to pay them. She was probably like, okay.
But she had, I'm assuming she had money. I mean, she had a very successful wrought iron welding business.
Which is fine, but think about it. She was a person that didn't want to get rid of things. Maybe she just wanted to save, and these people are in here doing work for her. They need to get paid. And
do you think maybe they just, like you said, they just got into heated arguments and she shot them?
I think they did, honestly. I think they got into an argument because of money, because root of all evil is money.
Yeah. But that's just what we think.
No se los tenía que dar de comer a los cuches. No, it was not necessary. I mean,
it's crazy. I know that the pigs, it's not their fault because
that's what they knew. But still,
and they're animals.
They're animals, and they're probably out there eating in the wild too, like that. But not people.
Not people.
No, not people.
And then, but why was she so messy? Like, why was she such a hoarder? You saw those pictures.
Well, because we go back to the same thing. I mean, people probably just the era that she was born in, you know, the depressions and all that shit. I don't know. A lot of people say that, well, my parents were in the Great Depression and they didn't have anything. And then when they had something, they wouldn't get rid of it.
She was born after the Great Depression.
Well, yeah, but, you know, her parents and her grandparents, I mean, it's generational shit, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, let us know what you think.
Yeah, please.
I cannot feel my legs right now. But we're gonna try to find a better place next time. Thank you so much for listening and everybody's support.
So if you'd like to follow us on Instagram, you can follow us at
Cafecito and Crime Pod.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
Bye.